Wow, look at these coins. Have you ever bought 90% coins from a coin store and then you get them home and they look like this quarter right here or like this dime right here, heavily circulated, and you're wondering how much silver you've lost? Well, let's throw it on the scale and find out. Everyone knows the standard weights for 90% silver, right? I mean, two $half, for example, right here, uncirculated Kennedys, should have about 0.715 ounces of silver if you were to melt it down and remove the copper. The same goes for 4 quarters or 10 dimes or 2 quarters and 5 dimes. However you add it up to $1 face value, generally you should have 0.715 ounces. That being said, whenever you buy 90%, sometimes you get silver like this. These mercury dimes right here are what we would consider coals, heavily circulated and probably missing a considerable amount of silver. Same goes for the standing Liberty quarters right here and these heavily circulated walking Liberty $half like these two right here. So how much silver do they actually lose? Many people ask this all the time, and today we're going to find out. We have a scale, we have a notepad to take notes, and we have a calculator. So let's find out how much silver is actually missing out of these heavily circulated coins right here, and we'll weigh them all together and see if it actually comes out to an average of 0.715 when we're all done. So let's get into it, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe. Silver premiums are still coming down. For example, our sponsor, SD Bullion, has 1 ounce silver bars this week for just $1.99 over spot. Take advantage now by clicking the link in the description below. Now, the scale we're going to be using today is actually this AccuWeight scale that you can get off of Amazon. And if you want a scale like this, I'll put a link in the description. And we're going to start with our $half. Now, keep in mind that even though we use 0.715 ounces troy as a general weight, brand new off of the line coins actually have 0.723 ounces of silver if you were to melt them down per dollar face value. So these brand new ones right here, once we put them on the scale showing 0.798, now we can 0.7975, we can take our calculator and do 0.7975 times 0.9, and you can see that even these are coming up a little bit light at 0.71775, but over that 0.715 that we talked about that we use as a general example. And we will then move into our circulated. So these are 2 circulated walking Liberty $half, but these would not be considered coals. You can see they still have a lot of detail. They still have their rims. So how much silver have these lost? Well, we're at 0.7920. So 0.7920 times 0.9 is 0.7128. So our circulated ones have 0.7128 ounces of silver. Right there around that 0.715. We're really not missing much with those. And if you were to take those 4 that we just weighed together, you probably come up to right at 0.715. However, what happens when we get down to these? Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, this is going to blow your mind, so stick around for it. We're going to do the calls at the end, because next thing we're going to do is our uncirculated 90% silver quarters. Again, these have a little bit of wear. I mean, actually, no, there's really no wear on these. They're just, dinged up a little bit, but very nice detail, very nice rims. These are basically brand new. With a little bit of damage. And you can see these actually weigh out a little bit more at 0.8095. So if we take that times 0.9, oops, not 0.89, 0.9, we get 0.728. So 0.728 is actually a little bit over that, 0.723 that we were just talking about. So we have 0.7825. It's actually 0.78255. We should round up, but we're not going to. We're just going to cut off after 4 digits. That's close enough. All right, so let's do our circulated Washington quarters. So we have these right here. Clearly, they got some circulation on them. Let's find out what we have. And we have 0.7815. So we go to 0.7815 times 0.9. And you can see we have on these 0.7033 ounces for our circulated ones right here. So that is actually under that 0.715. And then at the end here, we're going to do these calls, which are these standing Liberty quarters right here that have no dates, and you can see the rims are worn down as well. Now, what's really crazy is when we take a look at the dimes that we're going to do, the circulated ones, but we'll start with this uncirculated pile right here. So we have 10 uncirculated Roosevelt dimes. You can see they have nice reeded edges, full rims. There's luster, and we get 0.8085. So 0.8085 times 0.9 gives us 0.7276. So 0.7276. All right, now let's try the circulated ones here. So we're going to grab our circulated ones, put them on the scale, and we have 0.7935. So 0.7935 times 0.9 gives us 0.71415. That is right at 0.715. So 0.7141 for our circulated ones right here. And then we're going to do, man, these mercury dimes are really circulated. So You guys are probably wondering what these calls weigh, so let's find out. Let's not wait anymore. Let's take a look at these Walking Liberty half dollars. So we're going to put these 2 Walking Liberty half dollars on there, and we have 0.757 ounces. So 0.757 times 0.9. Guys, for these Walking Liberty half dollars, as you can see, we are actually underweight at 0.6813. Holy smokes, that is way under what we were looking for right there. Way under our 0.715. If we take a look at our our Standing Liberty circulated quarters here, let's find out what's going on there. So we have 0.739. So 0.739. Man, those are almost at 0.715. Oh, and it actually just updated 0.7385. Those are actually at almost 0.715 without taking away the 10% copper. So with these quarters, we actually only have 0.6646 ounces troy of silver in these quarters. And finally, let's do these heavily circulated mercury dimes. So let's clear out our calculator here, throw them on the scale. 0.7175, guys. These are at 0.715 basically before we even take out the copper. And as you can see, our dimes come out to 0.64575. So you're probably wondering, all right, how does that average out? So let's say we bought $3 face value of dimes. We got 10 that looked like this. We had 10 that looked like this. And we have 10 that look like this. Let's find out. We're going to get a bigger tray on the scale here. We're going to go ahead and tear this out to 0. And our 30 dimes comes up to 2.3195. So 2.3195, all right, times 0.9, remove the copper, and then divide it by $3 face value. And we actually come up to 0.69585. So that is actually under our 0.715 that we were using as our math, primarily because of those heavily circulated mercs. How does that work with the quarters, you ask? Well, let's find out. Put all 12 of the quarters on there. We have 2.3305 ounces. So 2.3305 times 0.9 gives us 2.09745 divided by 3. 0.69915 on the quarters. So we are again under 0.715. And again, because of those Standing Liberty quarters right there. And then let's do it with $3 face value of half dollars. And we get 2.347. So 2.347 times 0.9 and then divided by 3. And you can see we get the half dollars came the closest at 0.7041 ounces troy. All right, so the last thing we're going to look at, and then I'll show you our chart, is we're going to weigh all $9 face value together. Let's say we just bought all 9 of this today. So we have, if we were to buy all $9 face value of these coins today, and we get 6.996 ounces troy times 0.9 brings us to 6.2964 ounces troy of silver divided by $9 face value. And as you can see, we come up to 0.6996 ounces troy overall for everything that we just weighed. All right, so we have all the numbers averaged out, and we bought $9 face value of 90% silver today. We were expecting to get, if you take a look, we were expecting to get 0.715 times 9, which gives us 6.435 ounces of silver. In reality, we only got 6.2964 ounces of silver in our $9 face value of 90% silver that we bought in this video. So let's go ahead and see how much money we actually lost. We'll do that by grabbing a calculator. So what we're going to do is we're going to let's just say that silver is $24 an ounce today, just to make it easy. I know it's like 23 and change. Let's just say, for the sake of today's video, it's $24. So we were expecting to get $24 times 6.435 ounces of silver. We were expecting to get $154.44 worth of silver. Now, let's see how much we actually got. So if we take 24, multiply that by what we actually got, which is 6.2964, you can see what we actually got was $151.11 worth of silver, a difference of $3.33. So that doesn't seem like a huge difference. It's just a couple of bucks, especially when you just spend $150. But it adds up. Let's just say that we bought $90 face value. We'll multiply that by 10. Now we lost $33 worth of silver. Let's say over the course of a few years, we have accumulated $900 face value of silver. Now we've actually lost $333 worth of silver by having the heavily circulated silver in our stack. So what can you do? Well, I will tell you a couple of things before we finish this video. The first one is that most coin shops that I know, and I do know that there are bad coin shops, but most coin shops that I know actually weed this stuff out when they're buying it and buy it for a little bit less, and then they turn around and sell it for a little bit less as well. That being said, if you go into your coin shop and you're wanting to buy 90%, just ask them if you can see it. Like, you're not asking to look at every single coin. You're not looking to cherry pick dates. You just want to see if stuff like this exists. And if it does, you want to ask if you can buy it a little bit cheaper so that you can get that $3 back that you're going to lose. Or you want to ask if they can pull out the really heavily circulated ones and give you stuff that looks closer to this. So that is what you can do to try and keep as much of this out of your stack. The other thing you can do, if they're not willing to take out the heavily circulated or sell it to you a little bit cheaper, is to just go somewhere else. Most coin shops, especially the honest ones, are more than willing to be fair with you and understand, and they do understand, that there actually is less silver on these heavily circulated ones. So most coin shops will work with you, but if they're not willing to, just in my opinion, find a coin shop that will work with you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, do me a favor, like and subscribe, help us continue to grow. I'm going to put a video up above me, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's a really good one. So that's the next thing you should do, is watch that video. And otherwise, you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.